did Brian Adams get mixed into the mix?
I had a situation, going over to Japan. I was gone to Japan for, at that time, 15 years, 14 to 15 weeks a year. And it was just before WrestleMania. And I developed an allergic reaction to shellfish. Going over there all the time, you're there, you eat shellfish, crab, shrimp, all this stuff. And we were home getting ready to go for WrestleMania.
You were at the movies with your
I was
wife.
going to the movie that night, and so we stopped at this Chinese restaurant that we normally stopped at. I ordered shrimp and lobster sauce. Took a couple bites, and it started burning. I felt uncomfortable. I thought it was spoiled or something.
Right.
I told him to take it back. And got another meal, something like that, but I was real uncomfortable. Went to the movies, sitting in the movie theater, and I'm on fire. Told my wife I'm going to the outside, get some air. Well, on the way out, the last thing I remember is putting my arm against the steel door and collapsed. My heart had stopped. It was an allergic reaction. Long story short, went to Emory Hospital, 4 or 5 days of testing. The doctor said, you're allergic to shellfish, and you had an anaphylactic reaction which shut down your system. People thought I had a heart attack, but I didn't. It just shut down. Now I'm allergic to bee stings. I've been stung 3 times.
That's not good. All right.
So I have my EpiPen over in the other room. I go every place with it. And
Well, and then when that happened, I can't remember who we were just doing an angle with. Do you remember who it was?
no, but I remember that they had sent Neidhart up one match.
Yeah, it was something, and Vince didn't know if it was your heart or not, whatever it was. So then, that's when he met with us and said we're thinking of bringing in another one just in case you're out a month or 2 months or whatever. And then he talked about Brian Adams, who I met at TV before, and I'm sure you met him before.
No,
But I talked to Lynn Denton and a couple of guys from Portland, Oregon. They said, oh, this guy's the greatest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And I think the idea was to have him come in and do this, and then he was going to go off into singles, and then we were going to be back to Axe and Smash again. So when he came in, that was kind of when the Road Warriors were coming at the same time, too, wasn't it?
they were coming in. Yeah, I think that they had contacted.
So then it all kind of, everything started
Changing up.
changing, yeah.
We were talking about how Vince brought in the third member, which was Brian Adams. How did that change the dynamic of the team?
Well, we had to make adjustments. Like I said, I had that allergic reaction, and I had to be cleared. I think there was a 4 to 6 week time frame from the time I left the doctor's hospital, Emory, till I could actually get back in the ring.
And it was something with the commission, too, wasn't it? The New York Commission or
Well, I don't know,
some goofy deal.
but the doctor wanted to make sure. I mean, he assured me right after we did the testing there'd be no problem. But, you can never guess. So he said, well, let's just wait. I think it was 4 weeks. Then I had to go back and take a retest, and I got a clearance letter. And in that time frame, Brian had already been working some matches.
And he already did some TVs already as Brian Adams up in that area. I think up in Canada, he was up in like Regina and Calgary and all that stuff. So Vince already knew he could work and everything.
And there was a discussion for me to make a move into the behind the scenes at that time. So that's what we were preparing for. And Barry and I, well, you were in some of the things when we talked about it with Vince. And it just never came to fruition. It came, bits and pieces would fall apart here and there. And I think that it probably started the downfall because it wasn't the 2 original guys. And there again, it wasn't anything against Tito, but Tito wasn't the original Can-Am.
Right.
It wasn't anything against Ivan Putski. Ivan Putski was over here, but he wasn't the original Eagle. So it doesn't really matter. You're not going to be able to replace that first part.
Right.
And although Brian could work, he wasn't at the level that we were.
No.
He was willing to learn, but he was timid with his interviews. He wasn't as smooth as we were with the interviews, with the wrestling. And I think that he was probably uncomfortable because he was thrown into a situation. You're Demolition. you're supposed to do this. You're
Right.
supposed to do, and some of the fans would make remarks. And he wasn't Demolition. He was becoming, but he wasn't.
Did you guys prefer keeping it? Well, obviously, I pretty much already know this answer, but I'll still ask you guys. Did you prefer keeping it as a tag team or a six-man?
Tag team all the way. That was it. You know, and another thing to understand too is to become like the tag team champions up there, you really had to be good, and it wasn't just something that, you know, let's just throw the belts on these guys.
Yeah.
Whoever had the belts had to be good and had to be able to entertain everybody, because that was the match, that was the excitement before the main event. And if you had a stinker match before that, the main event would have a stinker match.
And a lot of times we were the last match of the evening.
Yeah, because our match was too good.